Hello, everybody, and welcome to another live Argentina discussion. My name is Roy Nemer of Mundo Albiceleste.com. I'm joined by Osvaldo Godoy, also of Mundo Albiceleste.com. We are here to discuss Argentina's 1-0 loss versus Ecuador in the South American World Cup qualifiers. We're going to talk about the goal, the penalty, the red card or red cards, the referee, top three players, everything. We're going to be taking your questions and comments. And as always, let us know down below where you're watching from. We tend to get from all around the world. First things first, Osvaldo, how are you and how is everything?
I'm doing well, Roy. A tough loss. We're gonna talk a lot about the players, the collective game of Argentina. That, in my opinion, today was not good at all. It's tough because we're not used to losing, and I know that sounds arrogant, but it's the truth. But I'm sure that within a couple of days, it's just gonna be just another match. Now, it's hard because Argentina hardly kick on goal tonight. Um, but still, we were qualified to the World Cup in first position today. Most of the players were not usually starters, so I think that Argentina has still a good future. You're not gonna hear us, I think, talking really bad about Argentina just because they lose one match.
No, and that's it. I mean, for those expecting us to absolutely hate on every single player, I don't think that's going to happen. Both teams were already qualified. Argentina qualified, Ecuador qualified. So, in short, it changes nothing in the South American standings. And we'll talk about Ecuador as well. Credit to them. I thought they, all things considered, I thought they did very, very well. The loss, for me, was it expected? Not necessarily. I was expecting Argentina to play better, if I'm being honest. I don't think the starting 11 really worked. I don't know what you think, Osvaldo, and what everyone else thinks in the chat. I don't think the 11 players on the pitch just meshed well.
No, no, and I think it was a kind of defensive approach by Scaloni. I expected Lautaro Martinez and Julian Alvarez to start, especially since Messi was not there. And we play with Simeone and Nico Gonzalez. Then, of course, because of the early red card of Otamendi, things had to change quickly. But I agree with you. I didn't love the starting 11.
No, same. And I mean, we talk about it. Messi wasn't there. Christian Romero's not there. Enzo Fernandez not there. So, at least me, I was kind of expecting some new players. I think Balerdi was expected. McAllister was expected. I thought Nico Paz would get some minutes, maybe Echeverri or Mastantuono from the start. Scaloni played it, relatively safe or tried to play it relatively safe. We're going to talk about the players, a little bit more in detail when we get to the top three. But there were some players in there, I don't know, not the best of games. Not the best of
Yes,
games for me.
yes, I agree.
Let's take a look at the chat, see what everyone's talking about. Sumaya. This team needed a change in a few positions. Montiel and DePaul are now just burden in the team. Immediately need to inject option on right back and add Matias Sule as right wing. Lacks creativity without Messi. This is something, and we'll get through every comment in the chat. For me, this was something. It lacked creativity. I don't know what it was. It was no one was dribbling, and the creativity wasn't there. It really wasn't.
I can't think of a good Argentina opportunity on goal. I can't remember.
The best one was probably Lo Celso's effort, which was
Okay.
deflected.
Yes,
And
that was the closest one. But yeah,
yeah,
overall it wasn't a good match by Argentina.
no, absolutely not. Pepto Bismol Guardiola, they dropped a big stinker without Messi and Almada. They have no creativity. 100 need to upgrade right back and wingers really missing a Di Maria. Arjunan, hello. Mr. Happy, hello. Thank you for joining as well. Janet dropped to third. Uh, Maybe this wasn't the FIFA rankings. Argentina drops to third because of that, behind Spain and France.
I believe so.
I
Yeah, we
think
were
so.
talking just before the live how
Yeah.
it's weird the FIFA rankings. You lose one game after a couple of months, and even though we are the last World Cup champions, the Copa America champions, you drop to the third place.
And then I remember, I mean, it's the FIFA rankings, but Belgium was number one for, was it, a couple of years, and they never, I don't think they ever did anything.
No.
Uh, it's weird. Mushbik, hello. Joining you guys from Geelong, Australia. Thank you so much for spending I was going to say Friday, your Wednesday morning, Wednesday noon, afternoon. Thank you for spending your Wednesday with us, Mushfiq. Arjunan, starting lineup error. Yes, I agree. Watching from Tamil Nadu. MMH, I'm not upset we lost, just upset we are not moving forward. Like, we really need to get rid of Otamendi, plus inject some new blood in both fullback and midfield as well. We'll talk about Otamendi and the red card in just a second. Mixed Memorabilia, hello guys. Apologies, gonna join other show. Great to be back. Great to have you back, Mixed Memorabilia. North Village, Otamendi needs to retire. BC Venezuela will never play in the World Cup. We'll talk about Bolivia and that big shock.
They just won. The match just ended. They beat Brazil. Huge surprise. Huge surprise. Yeah, Venezuela is out of the World Cup. Bolivia will play the playoffs, this new format of the playoffs. But what a surprise. And something I want to mention is how, I think it was today or yesterday, that, for example, Norway with Haaland beat 11-1 Moldavia. And here in the South American qualifiers, to compare the two qualifiers, even though in Europe there's some good matches and Italy is struggling to go to a World Cup again, but you will never see that. And today, Bolivia beat Brazil.
That's a big one. I don't think anyone expected that. Congratulations to Bolivia. I don't know who they're going to be playing in the playoffs. Venezuela at one point were leading 2-1 versus Colombia, and then they completely lost it 6-3. But congratulations to Bolivia. Massive congrats. MMA to Nico Bash should have come on. I agree with that. Aini Maisanao, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Disappointed with Balerdi. Better read the game, please. Lisandro needs to return for the 2026 World Cup. Mr. Happy in disbelief about Bolivia. Junan, Martinez, Gonzalez, and Simeone, there's no creativity in their pass. Masantuano should have started. Pepto-Bismol, 0 chances. Rusan, Franco's overrated. I think Pass can be included in the 11. BC, welcome BC. Welcome everybody so far as well. This was Venezuela's best chance. Next time they finish 9th or 10th. North Village, Nico Gonzalez and DePaul need to go. Arjunan, only concern is Montiel's offensive contribution. Simon, welcome Simon. Bolivia to the Intercontinental Playoff with a 1-0 win versus Brazil. Ancelotti's Brazil as well. Yeah, who would have thought that?
Wow.
BC, maybe Bolivia will finally get a win at the World Cup. MMH, I agree with someone here. Soleil has to be in the team. He's the only winger who can take on players. Last time Bolivia qualified was in the United States in 1994. Also hosted in the United States. Wow.
That's true.
Yeah. Hello, Zongao as well. Hello, Messi from Barbados. Welcome. BC, too bad England will qualify this time. This is a good one. I like that one. Studio, Franco's overrated. What's up, guys? 89J Stubbs. What's up, my friend? Thank you for joining. Hemlock, welcome. Talking about in the previous live for Otamendi. What else we got here? I love these comments. Keep them coming. Varun, welcome, my friend. Welcome so much. Thank you for joining. All right, a big topic, of course, Nicolas Otamendi, the red card. I want to rewind a little bit, even before Otamendi's push or shove or foul or whatever you want to call it. Balerdi was beaten on that. I don't think he read the ball. I don't think he read the play very well. He was just beaten. It does happen. But Otamendi, I don't know what he was thinking. That experience, that's a big red card for Argentina, especially a referee that kind of lost control at one point. I don't think it was good.
Yeah, I will talk about the referee and the other decisions. I think that one was correct. I think the biggest mistake was from Balerdi. The Ecuadorian attacker has merit because he put his body, he positioned himself very well, but it's true that that's Balerdi's fault. Besides that, I think Balerdi played a decent game, especially sometimes with pressure. He's a player that can be able to fake one pass and then start the play for Argentina in a good way. So I don't think Balerdi did a bad match, but it's true that because of this particular mistake, it wasn't a good match by Balerdi. And then Otamendi. Otamendi, and something that he has been criticized in the last couple of years, that it's his lack of speed, and I believe that was the main issue why he got played to that tackle and ended up in the red card.
Yeah, no, look, both were at fault. I think Balerdi was at fault. Otamendi was at fault. You mentioned Balerdi. Aside from that aside, yes, I don't think he particularly had a bad game. I thought overall he was pretty decent. Not the best player, but maybe not the worst either. But Otamendi, yeah. And the other thing for Otamendi as well is the red cards in the World Cup qualifiers carry over to the World Cup. So Otamendi will not play Argentina's first match at the World Cup next year. He will not play. If
I
he's
know.
selected, which he will be,
Yeah.
but he
I
won't.
know a lot of people in the chat, I also was reading on Twitter. Some people might be happy about it because that means that maybe Lisandro Martinez and Cuti Romero can start as it was during the Copa America. We'll see if Lisandro Martinez is fit. That has always been the main question with Lisandro Martinez. But of course, it's not good news to have a player suspended the first match of the World Cup.
No, absolutely, it's not. And as you said, a lot of people were happy. I saw the comments, I saw the replies. I don't think it's ever a good thing, if I'm
No.
being honest. But for him, it's the experience. I'm surprised about it. And who knows whether it's Lisandro Martinez or Balerdi or if Senesi could get in the squad or who, Anselmino, maybe, who knows? You never know what could happen there. But no Otamendi that much we know for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And continue with that back line, which I think they didn't do a great job as we were talking about. Tagliafico, we mentioned last time in the last live how Tagliafico always plays well. Well, I don't know what happened to him today. He was just doing taekwondo things on the field.
I saw some of his tackles, and I mean, I was going to talk about him, or I was going to talk about that penalty when we got
Yeah.
to the referee in a couple of moments. But yeah, it wasn't his worst game. He was just physical. I don't know what it was. Someone posted on, someone replied to me online, and it kind of reminded me of it. The person said something along the lines of, "It's almost as if they're playing and it's the last day of school. They're just playing like that." And it made me laugh, and it reminded me a little bit of Tagliafico. Not his best game, and I've been his biggest fan, but it happens. Look, if there's ever a game where you don't want to play maybe your best, it's probably the last game where you're already qualified and number one no matter what. It's not the worst thing, but yeah, the back line for Argentina wasn't great throughout the 90 minutes.
No, no. And talking about that penalty, um, I know most people think that that wasn't a penalty. I don't think it was a foul, honestly. But it's true that it's a weird position of Tagliafico to put his arm. I don't think he goes with his elbow, but it is weird where he positioned his arm.
Yeah, it's in a way, you know, when you jump, naturally you're gonna jump with your arms out. You can't.
Sure.
No one's really gonna jump with their arms by their side, and it's the fact that he won the ball, he won the header. It was his arm. Was it in a natural position? I honestly think it was. I don't think it was a penalty. And before anyone says, "Oh, I'm saying that because it's Argentina," I don't think Caicedo's was a red card. By the way, I think the referee completely missed that one. I don't think that was a red card for Ecuador either.
No, no, there were a couple of calls that were difficult for the referee. I know we don't love this referee, and I understand all the
Yeah.
reasons, especially the way that he acts sometimes in the field is like kind of very arrogant, and he's not too much of a likable referee. Although I don't think there's many likable referees, but that one. Then there was one, I think, to Nico Gonzalez that was similar to the one of Tagliafico, and you were saying on Twitter if the Tagliafico was a penalty, this one had also to be a foul and a yellow card or a red card. Um,
And that's it. And I mean, Nicolas Gonzalez was bleeding. He was bleeding from his lip. He was bleeding from his mouth. No VAR, nothing there. Again, I think the referee kind of did not have a very good game. I don't think that was a penalty. Was it a red card? Maybe. It depends. I think it was. If I'm being honest, I think it was a red card, just because in this day and age you can't do that. If the game was played 20 years ago, absolutely no way was this a red card.
yeah.
Now, pushing a player, you're the last player before the goalkeeper, the last defender, you push the player, there's contact, that's going to be a red card. But I think maybe, yes, that was a red card. It was not a penalty. The foul on Nico Gonzalez should have been reviewed. Even the red card, as I said, for Ecuador, that was not a red card. I think the referee
Yes.
did not have a good game.
Yes, again, some calls that were difficult for the referee. That one from Caicedo. I think there's a saying. I'm trying to translate it to English, but it's either if the player hits or tries to hit the other player, and the way Caicedo went for the ball, but actually almost kicked the leg of the Argentinian, was very hard. He already had a yellow card, so it wasn't smart from Caicedo. But I agree with you. I mean, the ball was there in play, and he didn't even touch really the foot of the Argentinian.
No, he didn't. I think it was on. I want to say Nico Gonzalez or Paredes. I think the foul by Caicedo. Uh, it wasn't very good from the referee. If it was any other referee, I don't think we get two red cards, if I'm being honest, or at least not one red card and one penalty kick. It wasn't very good. One thing though, and I will bring this up. I'm going to bring this up because it's true, at least in my opinion. Ladislav saying, but after 10 versus 10, I want to see much more from Argentina, and
Yeah.
this was it for me because Caicedo got red carded early, very early on in the second half, and Argentina didn't do much. That's the problem, is they didn't do much, and it's I'm not going to say it's worrying. It's one game and it's borderline a meaningless game, but I would have liked to have seen maybe some of the younger players and really kind of go for it a little bit more, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, taking aside the referee, that I think at some point, based on what you were saying, I think he tried to compensate maybe the mistake of the penalty with the red card for Caicedo. It's true. I expected Argentina with that red card. Everyone expected, okay, now we're gonna play football 10v10, and we didn't. And there was, even though again we're not really, we shouldn't be super worried about this loss because we have to see all the process, and Argentina winning the qualifiers since match day 10, I believe, or something like that. There's some players that are not doing that great, at least in this last two matches. Okay, it's not that in the whole process, but Rodrigo de Paul today, he played really bad.
I know we didn't. There was at one point, I think he was the last player we spoke about in the last live. He was probably our worst midfielder. McAllister started off good and kind of phased out a little bit. I thought Paredes by far was our best midfielder. De Paul has to be said it wasn't. And before anyone says, I don't think it has anything to do with Inter Miami. I just think it's two matches where he just doesn't play well.
Yeah, no, and that's where Scaloni, I think, he when he makes the substitutions, he needs to take out the Paul and not Paredes. Maybe I want to think that it's because it's a match that is not really relevant, and we want to give the Paul that confidence because we know, and Scaloni knows that the Paul with confidence is a huge player for Argentina, a key midfielder. I understand it, but if we're playing a World Cup, if we're playing a match that is really important, I think Scaloni needs to take out the player that is playing the worst,
Yeah.
and I don't know if he will be able to do that. Yeah,
I, I don't know, and I'll get to the chat in just a little bit. I love the comments. Keep them coming, everybody. And by the way, hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe and notifications button as well. Going back to that, going back to the substitutions, and again, I'll bring up some comments. I would have taken off De Paul, absolutely. The one thing though about the substitutions is he brought on Lo Celso, and maybe he was, for me, he was not the first choice substitute, let's say, to bring on. I would have brought on maybe somebody else, but I think Scaloni tried to play it almost too safe in the sense of he went with the players that he trusted. Mastantuono aside, if you look at his substitutions, it's Alvarez, Julian Alvarez, it's Molina, it's what's it called? It's Lo Celso, and at one point, yes, he was forced because of the red card and when Foyth came in, but I would have liked to have seen that risk. I don't know what happened. I read, if I'm not mistaken, Echeverri didn't even travel with the team. But why not Alan Varela? Why not? Why not bring him on? Why not a Nico Pass? I don't know. I think Scaloni kind of got it wrong. And with the substitutions, I think he got it wrong as well. I
yeah,
really think.
yeah. Maybe he tried to put the players that already had a little bit more experience, especially, and maybe put these players that you're naming, Nico Paz, Alan Varela, in the friendly matches that are coming up. Maybe that's the idea.
Could be.
But I agree with you. I don't understand. And although I think Franco Mastantuono has a great future, he's only 18 years old. Today he didn't play well. Today he
No.
make too many mistakes. Something that I really like about him is that he asks for the ball all the time. He doesn't care if he does something wrong. He go ask for the ball again and tries because he knows the quality he has. But I don't understand why. Mastantuono and not Nico Paz, for example. Nico Paz was it in the last double match day that he did it really well, or in the previous one?
The previous one, the
Okay.
pass, no, it was really in the previous one. The last match, he came on as a substitute. Wasn't his best game, but I mean, it's fine. But
Couple of
yeah,
minutes.
it's normal. But you know, for me, Mastantuono, at least in this game, like you said, it wasn't his best game. He's still very young. It's his second ever match with the national team, or third match, excuse me, with the national team. So I'm not hating on him. Still very young. I like what you just said as well with him. He would ask for the ball. He would try and take on players. He would try and do something. It didn't work out, but at least he tried. And as a young player, that's what you want to see. But yeah, I mean, maybe someone like a Nico Pass or somebody in midfield or someone out wide. I don't know. It looks like Scaloni
Yeah.
went with the players that he knows and trusts.
Yeah, yeah. Let me say something else that I believe that even though we always talk about the great squad Argentina has and future and everything,
Yeah,
I still believe there's a big difference between our starting 11 and the rest. And today it was Otamendi, but then Otamendi was out. But usually it's Cudio Romero, Lisandro Martinez, and Molina. And
yeah.
today the back four was different. The midfield, no Messi. There's, I still think there's a big difference between our starting 11 and our the rest of the players, and that's normal. That's normal.
Of course. No, 100%. And I'll again, we will get to the chat. One last thing I want to mention, talking about the back line or the difference in the starting 11, a question to you, Osvaldo, and a question to everybody. And I love Tagliafico. I've been defending him. I think he's extremely underrated. Why play him both games? Why not try Valentin Barco? Why not try Julio Soler? I mean, they were in the squad.
No, 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 no. Um,
I don't know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Tagliafico. Let's also be honest that he played really well in the last one. Today,
100%.
today he was not playing well. He was very physical, as you were saying. Even at some point, maybe he should have been red carded. Um, but it's true that maybe when Otamendi was red carded, Tagliafico can be more of a defensive left back than Acuna or anyone else. So I agree why he continued playing there. Um, but yeah, it's true. I mean, we always talk about how players like Soler and Valentin Barco deserves a chance in the national team.
Yeah. Uh, it's surprising, but you mentioned it earlier. Maybe in the friendly matches next month. Maybe in those two games.
It
All
has
right,
to be there.
let's get to the chat. There's a lot to get to, really, really a lot to get to. Let's see here. MMH saying, I respect Otamendi, but it's time to go. Vladislav Otamendi should be a late sub these days to close out games. Not a bad idea. Rose T, welcome Rose T, saying, why not try Senesi? He's not getting called up. Not playing. He's been hit or miss also with Bournemouth from what I've seen. Um, what else do we have here? Arjunan, first substitute is four. Montiel should have been substituted off instead of Simeone. BC can't stand Ecuador. They will be disappointing at the World Cup like they are at every major tournament. Credit to Ecuador, by the way. I know this may be a bit of a contrast in terms of BC's comment, but
Yeah.
they're a difficult team to play against.
Yeah, and to Sebastián Becasese, who used to be the assistant coach
Yeah.
of Sampaoli, the Argentinian. Uh, a great merit for them. They finished the qualifiers too after suffering the -3 sanction, suspension. Um, but it is true that, especially when they were winning, they were kind of annoying. And we can complain about that because Argentina sometimes is.
100%. But credit to them, they only allowed 5 goals in the entire qualifiers. 5 goals in
No,
5 goals in all of the South American World Cup qualifiers.
no. Say it again. Say it again. I think I heard wrong.
Ecuador only allowed 5 goals in the qualifiers. One versus Argentina,
I
one
see.
versus
What?
Uruguay, one versus Bolivia. A lot of them were draws. One versus Brazil, one versus Brazil. That's 5, and the
I
rest
see.
were clean sheets or draws.
I
No
see,
draws.
but they only scored 14 goals compared to us that was 31.
Yeah,
But wow, that's huge. Only 5 goals they conceded
only five
in
goals.
18 matches.
Yeah, Yeah, Vladislav, Ecuador really super tough these days. Do not underestimate. You mentioned the coach 100%. It wasn't just Ecuador. A lot of teams couldn't score. Yeah, and Argentina was one of those teams that scored against them, and it was Messi. But they're tough. They're tough to score against.
Yes,
Uh,
and in our analysis, I think we have to include that Argentina wasn't able to really have any chance, any good chance. But there's a lot of merit in Ecuador's defense. They were very difficult to really go through
yeah,
their lines.
yeah. Oh no, there were no dribbles. Every time Argentina would cross the ball into the penalty area, I would think, why are you crossing? We're not we're not going to score a header.
No.
But it happened. It's okay. All right. MMH, DePaul should be on when we play defensive. That's it. BC, DePaul should come off the bench. History is unkind to teams that try to play multiple starters from lower leagues. Um, Vladislav Scoloni needs to learn to trust the youth. He was forced to use the youth at the World Cup due to injuries. He should learn from that. Arjuna Nico Pass instead of Mastantuono. Mixed memorabilia. Argentina missed that creativity in the middle and a number 10, but Messi and Almada were not fit. But Mastantuono is not a 10. He's potentially very important, but not a 10. What else do we have here? MMH. We missed Enzo. Enzo has become important to this team, and he's not there. And Alexis coming off not fitness, but a lot of travel. Um, there's a lot there. Hemlock Balerdi did a mistake. It may happen, but Otamendi should not do that. So we should believe in youth because previously youth players bring you a World Cup. Barco must be called up in the future. Scaloni still not playing Barco and Soler. What else? Timothy, welcome, Timothy. Masantuono's not ready right now. We need Echeverri. Nico Pass is above. Anyway, this will not be our starting 11. That's very true. That's very true. BC, this was the lowest scoring qualifying campaign since the expansion in 1998. Just 2.03 goals per match between both teams. Wow, that's something. That's interesting. All right, let's continue. One last comment, then we'll go on to something else. Fawad, hello. It's early morning where I am, and certainly not a good one. A question for both of you. What's Coloni's problem with starting Julian and Lautaro up front? I mean, we didn't get both of them starting today. So
Yeah, I would have liked to see them both starting, honestly, and especially without Messi. I think without Messi, there's no reason why they shouldn't start up front.
yeah,
And you could see Lautaro Martinez was not really happy when he was subbed off. That's completely understandable. Julian also didn't have the best match in the minutes he played, but so did all the most of the Argentina team.
yeah. I think the only reason he went with three up front was, in my opinion, I think he wanted defensive coverage on the width for Montiel and Tagliafico. So he went with Nico Gonzalez, who tracks back, and Simeone, who drops back. But I mean, didn't work out too well today. All right, we spoke about this off air, Osvaldo. We said we might struggle, and let's see who else in the chat struggles. Top three players. I could think of two. I'm trying to think of a third, if I'm being honest. I might have a third. This might surprise a lot of people, might surprise you, Osvaldo. I can
Okay,
go first. You can go first, whatever you want.
you can go first this time
All
to
right.
suffer.
I think best player for me for Argentina was Emiliano Martinez.
I agree.
He made 3 or 4 saves. Two of them were one-on-one. One was a near post. For me, by far, Argentina's best player. Number two, I want to say Paredes.
Yes.
Leandro Paredes, I think, was Argentina's second best player. The third one, this might surprise a lot of people, really, and it might even surprise me. And I'm willing to change my mind if someone Foyth.
Fourth. He didn't do bad. Yeah.
I don't think he did anything bad. He wasn't outstanding. I'm not saying he was outstanding, but I don't think he did anything bad. And that's how bad that's how bad the match was for Argentina. Someone that just didn't play bad makes the top three. But would he start for me? Would I start him? No, I would not. I've made my feelings, I think, clear enough when it comes to Foyth. I think on his best day, he's excellent, but you never know when he's going to have that lapse of concentration. Those are my three. Those are my three. Well, I don't know what you think, Osvaldo, and we'll get to the chat.
Yes, that third position could be a couple of players, and just because they're they're not even over the a 5. You know, all the other players, I think they're under the a rating of a 5 from 1 to 10. It could be McAllister, but he didn't have a great match. It could be Nico Gonzalez, and that's really it. Any of
Yeah,
those three, Gonzalez, McAllister, Foyth. It's true. It wasn't easy for Foyth to come in with Argentina one player less. Uh, he he played in a difficult match to play it, and he did it well.
that's it. It's it wasn't easy. You're a man down. You're away from home, uh, and I think a lot of people. I'll go through the chat, and this is specifically why I was surprised that I would even say Foyth. Um, this one here for me, MMA saying, I don't know why I feel so nervous whenever Foyth has the ball. I can't trust him. I have my trust issues with him. I'm the same, my friend. Nothing against Foyth. I hope he really proves me wrong. I truly hope I'm proven wrong when it comes to Foyth. And it's that Vladislav Foyth was fine. Pepto Bismol saying, do not say Nico Gonzalez. I didn't. Osvaldo, you did.
Yeah.
Adnan Foyth. Juan saying Foyth is a disaster waiting to happen. Simon saying McAllister, Valerdi, Gonzalez. All right. So no Emiliano Martinez for you, Simon? No one for you? MMH, when I see Kuti and Nietzsche, I know what I will get, but Foyth, no way. A mixed memorabilia. Foyth looked uncomfortable at times. Shaw Fitness, whenever the ball goes to Foyth, it gives me shivers, especially because of his error against Colombia years ago. Yes, this was right before the Copa America in 2021. Yes. What else we got? Kosiniats, welcome. Just joined. Did you guys think this result is an indicator of bad things to come? In short, I don't think so. Not for me, Osvaldo. I don't know about you, but I don't think it's
No.
bad.
Hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's not.
Hopefully. I love the confidence, Osvaldo. I love it. Mixed memorabilia saying Emi Martinez, excuse me. Paredes, Gonzalez, Shah Fitness, Tagliafico, Dibu, and Nico.
Some people say Nico Gonzalez.
Look, I don't think he played bad. By the way, I went differently because I know if I say Nico Gonzalez, people are gonna call me out on it. So I didn't want to go with Nico Gonzalez, but I could go with Nico Gonzalez instead of Foyth. I'm okay with that. Jaco Taco, welcome, Jaco Taco. Sorry, guys, late to the party. I apologize if you answered this. Why is Scaloni so reluctant to experiment with new players and start them rather than with the players we already have or we already know? I'm gonna go with what you said, Osvaldo. I think in the friendly matches, we'll get them. I think we'll get them in the friendlies.
Yeah. I really expect to see a full different lineup in the friendlies, just for players to play a couple of matches to understand what it is to have a couple of minutes with Argentina. I really want to see a completely different lineup, just to see players.
Yeah, no, of course. Simon Martinez would have been 3, but Balerdi statistically was decent. 4 out of 5 long balls, 77 out of 81 passing, 4-4 aerial duels. Statistically, the best of the back line. Wow. Some good
Wow.
numbers there. Thank you. Mr. Happy, I never liked Nico, too wasteful. Cosinias, Molina, Emiliano Martinez, and Foyth. So, question: someone we didn't really talk about, Molina, when he came on, or even Montiel. I think Montiel was feisty. I think he was fighting a lot, very tenacious. Molina, I don't know. It's whatever's going on with him for me. I'm not liking it lately, and I like Molina.
Yes, he's not having a good season with Atletico Madrid, not really starting much. That's always the position that we talk about. We need a player there. We mentioned
Yeah,
Agustin Yai. I really don't know why he's not being called up.
but no idea, no idea. I don't get it either.
I
As
told you, sorry, I told you that day over text that before the call up was announced and everything, that I believe that Agustin Yai, or I think it was in a live discussion, Agustin Yai is gonna be a starter for Argentina in the next World
yeah.
Cup. But if he's not called up, I think it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, no, it's. I think something has to give. I don't know. The qualifiers are over. It's friendly matches now. Scaloni has pretty much 4 matches to try and find someone. Unless, and Scaloni's done this in the past, unless Scaloni surprises everybody right before the World Cup and calls up someone that hasn't been called up, like he did with Enzo Fernandez
Yes.
in 2022.
Yes, the truth is that he said that in a press conference how the players that are gonna go to the World Cup, it's almost he said that it's here is the are the main players that will
The
go
base.
in the base. That's what I was trying to say. But it's true. He can surprise with a couple of players.
Yeah, we could. He could do that. He could certainly do that. Um, Major, like Nico, is the kind of player you need when you defend a lead and you put him on, then he will get you a goal. All right. We spoke about that. We spoke about that. Before we close things up, really quickly, winning an Argentina jersey. It's the 2006 retro one this month, Osvaldo.
Yes, the one they have right there, there
Right
you go,
here.
the 2006, the away kit. One of my favorites. I know it's one of your favorites too. So you can
Yeah.
go to Mundo Albiceleste. There you can subscribe to our website to and follow us in all the platforms, and that's how you're gonna be able to participate. So yeah, we're giving away a jersey every single month.
There you go. There you go. I love this one. It's a big jersey. Um, Side note, I think I told you this as well. This was maybe a while back though. I'm superstitious. Not surprising. I think a lot of football fans are superstitious. I started wearing this right when Argentina started winning the Copa America and the World Cup and everything, and I would wear this only after lives, after matches, or sorry, during lives after matches. So whenever we do the live discussions after a game, I always wore this. I thought it brought us good luck. Again, I'm superstitious. It means absolutely nothing. Uh, but I'm thinking if I should give this up, just stop and go with a different shirt going into the World Cup. I don't know. I worn this 2021, 2022, 2024 after every match. We'll see in 2026. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, I think you should stay with that. If that's what happened in the last couple of tournaments, I have to stay with that for sure.
We might have to. We might have to. One last thing, Fawad saying Balerdi, barring that one moment, had a decent game. Pair him with Kuti, and we're golden. You never know. It's true. Maybe Kuti and Balerdi would be a good partnership. I don't think we've gotten that so far. I don't think we've got that so far. Any final thoughts, Osvaldo, before we close things up tonight?
Um, just continue to be surprised by Bolivia having the chance to play the next World Cup. I'm also excited that Argentina it's playing a couple of friendly matches here in the US. They will play in Miami against Venezuela, who I'm sure they're destroyed right now. I don't know what team is gonna come here, uh, but and they're gonna play here in Miami. So we hope to get credentials as always roll with Mundo Albiceleste and be there covering the event. So just tell everyone to stay tuned because we plan to continue the coverage all the way until the Finalissima and then the World Cup.
Of course, of course. No, and we're gonna be live. We're just because the qualifiers ended doesn't mean the live discussions are gonna stop. No, uh, I mean technically the European club football is back on the weekend. That never stops. And Argentina, I think the list for the Argentina match for October could be out in maybe 2 weeks to 3 weeks, depending on when the matches are played.
Yeah.
That could be out pretty soon as well. So Argentina, 2 matches in the United States, Venezuela and Puerto Rico, and then Angola and India, 2 games there in November. So if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications button to be the first person notified as soon as we go live. As always, thank you everybody for joining. Thank you everybody for leaving a comment, a like, and everything. As always, my name is Roy Nemer of MundoAlbiceleste.com, joined by, of course, the one and only Osvaldo Godoy, also of MundoAlbiceleste.com. Until next time, take care, everybody.